Live from the Bay Area's news station, this is the KRON 4 Morning News.
In 2007, more than 38 million people were living with AIDS across the globe. Of that number, 2/3 of these individuals are in sub-Saharan Africa. 2 million also died of AIDS that year, and it's the #1 cause of death in Africa. There's a new book out by a Bay Area author about the AIDS epidemic. It's called Face to Face: Children of the AIDS Crisis in Africa. And joining us this morning to talk about it is Ruth Ann Richter, the writer and director of media relations at Stanford University, and the documentary photographer Karen Andy. Thanks both of you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a
I
pleasure.
think that we threw all those numbers out, but bottom line, what you're talking about is the impact on kids, on the children of sub-Saharan Africa. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that's why we wrote this book, is because people really can't grasp those numbers. It seems so remote.
Right.
And so to bring it closer to home, what we do is we profile individual children that we met, very poignant stories of children who were living under very, very difficult circumstances. These are orphans children or children who are affected by HIV themselves, in order so that people can understand the plight of the kids who have been so neglected, we feel, in the response to the epidemic.
Well, not only did they suffer for it, but oftentimes they became the parent. Is that not true?
Yes, we profile a number of children in the book. This is unfortunately, very common phenomenon in sub-Saharan Africa, of the child-headed household. You have the teen who's orphaned, who then takes care of a number of other children, and so there is a very challenging situation. It would be under any circumstances, but if you're living in a situation, such a resource-poor situation where you have no money to purchase food, these kids are trying desperately to stay in school. So
I think we have some photos, which I definitely would love to see. Karen did. Okay. When you captured these, what were you looking to show?
I was looking to show the hope in the children's eyes.
No?
I mean, these children are beautiful. These children deserve a life. They deserve a great future. And I just wanted to convey that to people back here.
Are you a photographer by trade?
Yes and no. I'm a photographer by love and hobby. I'm a physical therapist by trade.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How interesting. So you're able to practice a craft out there.
Well, no, I wasn't actually. I've spent most of my time working with very ill people, frail elders, hospice work.
No, but I'm thinking in terms of the photography, you finally got to put that into...
I see. Yes,
look
absolutely.
Look at this, how charming.
Absolutely.
These are the kids actually at Mama Darlene, which was a wonderful project that we visited in a rural village of Tala. This was a school for orphan and handicapped children that was started by a woman in Nairobi.
Now, you started this 7 years ago. What got you going? Well, more than 7, probably by the time you got it. By the time you got it to publication, what got you going on this?
Well, I went to Africa like most tourists to go see the animals, but in that process, I visited an orphanage, and I went to take pictures of the children. But while I was there, they ran out of rice. And so I realized that these children, as beautiful, hopeful, ebullient as they were very, very vulnerable. And so I brought the pictures home with me, and I started looking at them as they came up in the developing tray. And I saw these faces emerge, and I just realized that I was probably able to help them, and I really wanted to help them. And so I made that choice, and I haven't looked back.
So how come it took 7 years? Ruth Ann.
Well, we went back to Africa many times, and we realized at a certain point we had this great body of work that we wanted to convey to people. We didn't set out to produce a book, but we set out really to help the children, and we were doing a variety of things, and it just became apparent that this was really the best way, I think, to raise awareness.
So what were you doing, variety-wise, where you were helping the children?
Well, we have done a number of exhibits. I continued to write on a regular basis for a variety of publications. We were speaking to many community groups and organizations, doing what we could to advocate on behalf of the children. And fundraising as well.
Yes, fundraising, for sure.
We did quite a bit of fundraising.
So how much have you fundraised?
Probably about $70,000.
Oh, that must make you both feel really good.
It does.
Something is. So how is it being used back in Africa?
Well, it's being used in a lot of different ways. It's been used for a community garden. We had a project in Tala, Kenya to give dairy goats to families who needed, extra protein for the children. We've sent children to school. We bought school uniforms for kids. In Kenya, you can't attend school unless you have a uniform, and the $25 cost of a uniform and shoes can be prohibitive to families
absolutely.
there.
Imagine that.
And so,
Imagine
for $25, children are able to go
put
to
a
school.
lot of uniforms on a lot of children.
Your money can go a long way, really. You can feed a family of 5, for a minimal amount of money.
Ruth Ann, since you're in the media, do you think that they're getting a handle on it in terms of stopping the occurrence of AIDS or diminishing the risk of AIDS? I mean, the numbers are horrific. And the mortality is also. But what are they talking about there in Africa about this?
Well, it's
because there's also cultural problems about the whole issue around AIDS.
It's a very mixed bag. I have to say that there is progress being made. From when we first went to Africa in 2004, we did not meet a single person who was on antiretroviral treatment. And this was years after it had been introduced in this country. By the time we left in 2007, we met many people who were on treatment. So there's starting to be more accessibility to care and treatment. Still, there are many others. There are at least an estimated 5 million people who do need therapy and who are not getting it. So there has been progress, but we have a long ways to go.
Long ways to go,
Yes.
and your book is meant to help. It's called Face to Face, Children of the AIDS Crisis in Africa. And from the sales, what happens?
Well, we're donating all the funds back to the organizations that we profile that are helping children.
So they're in bookstores now, or do you have a website where they can go find this?
FacetoFaceAfrica.com is the name of our website.
And you have a signing tomorrow at Temple United Methodist Church.
We do.
In San Francisco on Beverly Street.
65 Beverly Street.
Okay, very good. Thank you both. It's really a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you
And
so much.
congratulations on the book. It's lovely.
Thanks so much.
All right.